would like to congratulate the New Horizons team and NASA on their pioneering, decade-long mission to explore the Pluto system and the Kuiper Belt. Billions of miles from Earth, this little robotic spacecraft will show us the first glimpse of mysterious Pluto, the distant icy world on the very edge of our solar system. It is 50 years since the first successful mission to Mars, Mariner 4, sent back 21 images of the red planet. Now the solar system will be further opened up to us, revealing the secrets of distant Pluto. The revelations of New Horizons may help us to understand better how our solar system was formed. We explore because we are human, and we want to know. I hope that Pluto will help us on that journey. I will be watching closely, and I hope you will too.
So how do you top an opening message from Stephen Hawking? By confirming safe passage of the first spacecraft to Pluto. And that's what we plan to do tonight. We're live at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, for special coverage of NASA's New Horizons Pluto flyby. I'm Mike Buckley from APL Communications and Public Affairs. And at about 7:49 this morning, after 3 billion miles in 9.5 years, NASA's New Horizons zipped past Pluto at 31,000 miles an hour and capped the initial reconnaissance of the solar system. But New Horizons itself has been out of contact with Earth since 11:17 last night, speeding along in a flyby mode that has it collecting as much data as it can, as quickly as it can, but not able to call home at the same time. So tonight, audiences here at APL and around the world are listening for that call. Having left New Horizons nearly 4.5 hours ago, radio signals traveling at light speed are expected to arrive at the APL Mission Operations Center at around 8:53 Eastern Time, having come through NASA's Deep Space Network antenna station near Madrid. And we'll go live in the Mission Operations Center so you can watch some of that activity. But let's start by looking back. In December, Russell Watson recorded a special version of his song, Where My Heart Will Take Me, to help wake New Horizons out of its final hibernation period. And we'd like to use that song to travel along New Horizons' long road to this historic moment.
It's been a long road, and getting from there to here, it's been a long time, but my time is finally here. I can feel the change in moving right now, nothing's in my way, and they're not gonna hold me down no more, no, they're not gonna hold me down, 'cause I've got faith of the heart, I'm going where the heart will take me, I've got faith to believe I can do anything, I've got strength of the soul, no one's gonna bend or break me, I can reach any star, I've got faith, I've got faith, faith of the heart. It's been a long road, and getting from there to here, it's been a long time, but my time is finally here. I can feel the change in moving right now, nothing's in my way, and they're not gonna hold me down no more, no, they're not gonna hold me down, 'cause I've got faith of the heart, I'm going where the heart will take me, I've got faith to believe I can
I'm joined by Mark Holdridge, New Horizons Encounter Mission Manager from the Applied Physics Lab, who will serve as our co-host for the evening. And Mark, thank you for lending your insights to the program.
Thanks, Mike. It's awesome to be here.
Let's take a quick look into the Mission Operations Center here at APL. And Mark, I'll ask you to look around and kind of describe what's happening in there, who's sitting where, and what's going on in that room.
Well, right now the engineering team's assembling, and looks like they're pretty well assembled. And the flight control team is going to be checking in with the Madrid station at the Deep Space Network. That's where the data is going to be coming in from tonight. And so they'll be doing comm checks, both voice and data, to make sure everything's configured right for tonight's contact.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you have to do ahead of time. It's almost like just calling to make sure they're home, right? That you have that right connection.
That's right.
Okay, well, we'll start with something else. We've now been joined by New Horizons project scientist Hal Weaver, familiar face to those who've been watching our programs. And Hal, first, welcome. Glad you can join us. And I tell you what, there may be some folks who are just picking up the New Horizons story. So let's just answer that one question. Why New Horizons? Why Pluto?
Yeah, well, we're here tonight because it's been 9.5 years. This is the payday, flying just about 7,500 miles above the surface of Pluto. You know, being 3 billion miles away from home, you know, you're worried, this is in deep space. We haven't contacted the spacecraft in almost a whole day. It's been really, really busy. If it's been following our directions, making all these wonderful measurements of the Pluto system. And, we want to take a little bit of a, we want to get the spacecraft to turn back to the Earth and give us a little snippet of engineering data that'll tell us everything is okay before going back and making more wonderful observations of Pluto. So, after the discovery of all those moons of Pluto that are, what we call debris generators, and the spacecraft is moving so fast through the system, 32,000 miles per hour, even hitting a little rice pellet size piece of dust could, blow a hole in the spacecraft. We spent a couple of years worrying about that. We finally got to the point where we realized that, we were flying through the safest part of the Pluto system, the part that was cleared out by Sharon. Extremely unlikely that, anything bad will happen to the spacecraft, but, we won't know for sure until we get the word tonight.
Well, I mean, that's what happens. You're flying into the unknown. Right?
Yeah.
You're part of this exploration, this part of space, into a zone that we just don't know really anything about. You're going to someplace you don't know. And I think maybe that seems some of the anxiety why this has some people on edge tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. You've always said from the beginning of this how you just couldn't wait to watch Pluto turn from a speck, from a dot, into a real world. And I think you've had a chance to do that over the past several months. Tell me what that's been like.
Yeah, so maybe we can take everyone here on that journey from, we've actually been observing Pluto since January. This is really a 6-month Pluto tour. If we can bring up the slides and show you where we started from, this is the best we could do in January, and keep going. You go to the next one, it's just getting better. Next one.
The color there, yeah.
Better. It's becoming a real world. Not these little pinpoints. Look at all the structures on this thing. It looks like they're craters, these, all this incredible structure. And, pointing out with the, possible cliffs. We had the heart, the whale. All of these features on Pluto's surface that we've been naming, coating them with beautiful color. And finally, the image that we had today, the best detail yet. And now, in false color, this isn't what the eye would see, but this is, it's not a cheat. These are real colors that we've taken with our color camera, and just looking at the differences and stretching the images so that you can see the contrast between one piece of the, one portion of the planet and the other. And it's just remarkable how much diversity there is on Pluto. And you see the heart there actually gets broken into two parts, two ventricles, almost. So, and to think that the data that we get tomorrow, the images that we get tomorrow are going to be 10 times higher resolution than those images that we were just now showing from earlier today.
I mean, so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, for what's coming back here. Take us through the steps, too, because I think some folks, there's a lot of excitement that's been happening, even just today to see that. The immediate, it's going to require a little bit of patience, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, we've picked out some of the choicest observations to, the best imaging, some representative data from each of the instruments on New Horizons to send back over the next couple of days. But we take a lot more than what we're going to be sending back right now. We're taking thousands of images, and it's going to take quite a while for us to get all of the data down. It'll in fact take more than a year to get all of the data down, but I think that from what we get in the next week, we get a good, we're going to get a great idea of exactly how complex the Pluto system is and what's in store for us as we sit there on our, at our computers during the next year and watch those images come in and the spectra come in. We're getting the composition, we're measuring properties of the atmosphere, all of these things that we'll be doing. It's just it's going to be a treasure trove of scientific results.
So, I mean, get through tonight, and boy, do we have a lot to look forward to, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay, Hal, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Hal.
Okay, so let's go back into mission operations. And, Mark, you've been a mission operations manager on several projects. The near mission around asteroid Eros, comes to mind. And, how do you prepare for a moment like tonight? I mean, operations teams all the time, you're getting signals back from the spacecraft, you're talking to it. But on a night like tonight where it's a big one, how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, this is a very special night. They're going to bring up all their favorite displays to look at the telemetry they're used to looking at to assess the systems. They know they have about 15 minutes to do their assessment and before they're polled. I'm sure they're all set up and ready to go. So there's sort of like this long, quiet period where they start reflecting back on the mission, like a lot of us are tonight, and they start telling stories and sort of reflecting on some of the good times and some of the not so good times.
What are they listening for in mission operations tonight?
Well, initially they're going to be listening for and looking for lock on the carrier, the signal from the spacecraft, and then it takes a little while before the receivers lock up on the bit stream and we get data lock. And at that point,
so that means that it's talking New Horizons and the ground stations are talking?
Yeah, at that point we'll know that the spacecraft's alive and healthy and more than likely configured properly, otherwise it wouldn't be transmitting at the data rate we're looking for. And it'll take a little while, though, for the packets to come in that the engineers need to look at to make their assessment. And then some time will pass. But I think initially you're going to hear a bit of an uproar coming from the Ops Center once we get to that point. And
once that lock is on, right? Once you know they've made a connection with New Horizons, expect one. And then the next step after that, then, as you're saying, is to make sure it's healthy.
Yeah, Alice, the mission ops manager, will have to sort of call to order and ask people to start doing what they're there to do, and that's perform their assessment and report status.
Okay, so when your spacecraft is 3 billion miles away, there's no such thing as real-time operations. I mean, the signal that New Horizons sends home tonight actually left the spacecraft some 4.5 hours ago. Now, if we take a look at New Horizons now through NASA's Eyes on the Solar System program, we can see the spacecraft is some 400,000 miles past Pluto. I mean, going through its post-flyby observations of the system, it still has some work to do as it's passed there, and you can see this on here. Now, you can ride along with New Horizons on eyes.nasa.gov. Now, in just a few minutes, we'll be waiting to see if New Horizons will be delivering the goods that lead to a host of discoveries about this unknown region of deep space. But the entire mission can trace its roots back to a single discovery in 1930. When a Kansas farm boy named Clyde Tombaugh, diligently scanning photographic plates at Lowell Observatory, found Pluto. Now here's a look at the discoverer from two people who knew him well.
My name is Annette Tombaugh, and I am Clyde Tombaugh's oldest child.
I'm Alden Tombaugh. I'm his son. A lot of the details of the discovery of Pluto actually started with my father telling my sister and I about how he got the opportunity to be in the discovery process at Lowell Observatory.
It started out in farming. He worked with the soil. Well, when he moved to Kansas, there were a lot of fossils there. And he wondered about life on other worlds, other planets.
He didn't have the opportunity at that time to go to college. They had several bad years of crop because of the weather conditions. They barely had enough money to reseed their next year's crops.
He started out building telescopes, and he enjoyed working with glass. He liked the process of grinding the mirrors and putting the optics together and assembling it all and using leftovers from the farm equipment to make them. He came out of the Depression, and he used everything he could.
The first one was a pretty miserable failure in his words. And then the third one he built was the 9-inch, and that turned out to be a very good telescope. And it enabled him to be able to draw pictures of his Mars observations.
When he first wrote to Lowell Observatory, he wanted them to give him suggestions to build better telescopes. And so he sent them some of his drawings of Mars and Jupiter, and they wrote back that they would like to hire him to work there. He had to pour the emulsions for the photographic plates, because in those days you poured your own emulsions. So the surface of the plates had to be slightly curved. They would break. So he redesigned the plate holder so that they wouldn't have that problem.
Then is when he had to really buckle down to the drudgery of looking for a planet.
He did it on a blink comparator. It takes time. You do the exposures, then maybe a week later or even longer, you blink the plates on the blink comparator back and forth, and then you would verify. You would predict where it would be at another particular night.
We got a pretty clear indication at that point in time of how much work it really did take, because just of the massive number of objects that he had to scan.
And these are little tiny specks of light. They're like fly specks on a piece of glass. He thought he had found something, so he got up and went into Dr. Lamplin's office and said, "Dr. Lamplin, I believe I have found your planet X." For a minute, he was the only one that knew that there was another object out there, another planet. And that made him feel elated, unusual. Then he later on, when we moved to New Mexico, he worked for White Sands on the V2 rockets, tracking them and designing paint patterns that would make it easier to track them. As he got older, it got harder and harder for him to move his telescopes around to inspire other people, to teach them, to take them out to the schools.
He mounted it on an old lawnmower base in order to make it easily transportable.
And it worked out beautifully, and he just put it in a little shed, and somebody come over and he'd pull it out. We call it the grazer gazer, as in grazing, mowing the lawn and gazing at the stars. I think my dad would be thrilled with the New Horizon. I mean, who wouldn't be? When he looked at Pluto, it was just a speck of light.
Some of my father's ashes are on that spacecraft, and part of him got to visit the speck on the plates that he discovered in 1930. It's going to be something that has become an integral part of our lives and our family's lives.
He would have been astounded. And I'm sure that to have the planet that you discovered better defined, better understood, it would have meant so much to him.
You know, Mark, there's a lot of history around APL this week as we celebrate, New Horizons' own historic achievement. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Mariner 4's flight to Mars, which gave us our first close-up look at the red planet. And of course, I'll acknowledge too that the Tombaws are here in the audience tonight with their families, as well as Jim Christie, who discovered Pluto in 1978, or discovered Charon. Only one discovery of Pluto, I'll point out, Jim Christie discovered Charon in 1978. We're also joined, Sylvia Day Thomas here with us this week, the daughter of Gerard Kuiper, the namesake of the vast Kuiper Belt where Pluto resides. Also, too, we have a few of our Pluto pals, kids who were born on the day New Horizons launched or turned 10 on that day on January 19th, 2006. And of course, for those around the world There's opportunity to join in this conversation on NASA Social through various means. I mean, there's the NASA website, www.nasa.gov/New Horizons, on Twitter, @NASA New Horizons, with the hashtag Pluto Flyby. So many options on social media. In fact, I'm going to check in with Jason Townsend from NASA Social. There has been so much activity on social media today, starting with, well, before that picture came out this morning, but after that, things just blew up. What's going on, Jason?
All right, New Horizons has had an absolutely incredible day online. I mean, the mission and its Pluto flyby, it's been trending all day long, remaining the top stories basically on Facebook and Twitter today. We've had several hours of engagement where our experts have been out from the mission, have been out answering your questions. They've answered hundreds of them through things like a Reddit AMA and Ask Me Anything, which ended up on the front page of Reddit. We had a Facebook Q&A where you literally asked thousands of questions of our experts. And we also had a tweet chat on @NASA New Horizons where we were able to answer a lot of your questions on Twitter. We've also had a lot of brands, celebrities, and social media influencers out there who've been engaging with us on this historic event. And although we're still crunching the numbers, today might very well be NASA's biggest day ever on social media with regard to engagement and reach. So this morning's sneak peek image on Instagram has been the most popular image that NASA has ever posted to Instagram, with over 295,000 likes and growing. We've had over 49,000 folks who have retweeted this morning's New Horizon tweet announcing the moment that the spacecraft flew by Pluto. And the best part, really, throughout the entire day has been seeing the excitement while following this conversation online. It's truly been energetic and absolutely inspiring. So keep following along with NASA and New Horizons on @NASA New Horizons, our Facebook pages, our Instagram account, and on our Google Plus account. So keep following along.
All right, great, Jason, thank you. We're getting close, Mark.
Very close.
When you were at the console about this time, you're waiting for something, you're waiting for the signal for something to happen. What did it feel like?
Extremely anxious. Yes.
I mean, whether it was something to put something in orbit or even just something as simple. I mean, would you ever stress out so much just for a signal?
No, I mean, you just have to sit there and wait. You have to be patient. And on this mission, you learn, patience is a virtue.
Especially on this one, right after 9.5 years, right? What's a few more minutes to wait for something else
What's
to
a couple
happen?
of minutes?
Okay. I think we can go to mission operations right now, so let's take a look inside.
Okay, we're in lock with carrier. Stand by for telemetry.
Pluto 63. We show targeting lock at 005274. We are waiting for that.
Second channel's going to
Mission Operations Manager Alice Bowman in console. Carl Wittenberg, Mission Operations team next to her.
What were you saying?
On the Deep Space Network.
In lock on symbols.
So that's the first step to getting data.
Okay, copy that. We're in lock with telemetry with the spacecraft.
See a lot of green numbers in that one, too.
Yeah, green is good.
Yeah.
You gotta get that, man.
Okay, subsystems, as you get enough.
Look at that.
Wow.
Subsystems, please report your status as you get enough data.
So now the subsystems will be reporting their status.
Mom, this is RF on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, RF.
RF is reporting nominal carrier power, nominal symbol-to-noise ratio for the telemetry. RF is nominal.
Copy that. RF nominal.
Mom, this is Autonomy on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, autonomy.
Autonomy is very happy to report nominal status. No rules have fired.
That was big.
Mom, this is CNDH on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, CNDH.
CNDH reports nominal status. Our SSR pointers are where we expect them to be, which means we've recorded the expected amount of data.
Oh my God.
Copy that. Looks like we have a good data record.
Mom, this is GNC on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, GNC.
GNC is nominal, all hardware is healthy, and we have a good number of thruster counts.
Copy that. GNC is healthy.
Mom, this is propulsion on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, prop.
Propulsion is nominal. Tank pressure is 176.8.
Copy that. Propulsion system is nominal.
Mom, this is power on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, power.
Power system, all telemetry is nominal. Hardware is healthy.
Copy that. Nominal for power.
Mom, this is thermal on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, thermal.
Thermal reports nominal, all temperatures green.
Copy that. Thermal is nominal. All temperatures green. Okay. PI, Mom on Pluto 1. We have a healthy spacecraft. We've recorded data of the Pluto system, and we're outbound for Pluto.
Yeah, that's it.
Feel the energy. Oh, boy, I'm relieved.
Sorry, I can't express how I feel and shaking. This is just fantastic. Just like we planned it, just like we practiced. I mean, we did it. It's just great. Yeah.
I guess for anyone, for the few people who didn't know who that was that came barging in the room when that happened, that was a slightly happy mission principal investigator, Alan Stern, who has just poured so much time, investment, heart, soul, like so many people on the New Horizons team to get to this point. Mark, I guess it's kind of hard to be impartial sitting here to watch this, but your thoughts on this?
Well, I can't say, how proud I am to be part of the team and of the team for all the efforts they've made building the spacecraft and testing it and flying it for over 9 years to get to this point. It's really an amazing accomplishment. How often do we unlock the secrets, of a new world? We did that today. How cool is that?
We had a chance to see there too briefly NASA Administrator Charles Bolden and Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, John Grunsfeld, in mission operations with Alice Bowman. I mean, a tremendous day for the New Horizons mission. So weird that we're back here. A little more of the atmosphere in there, but we're going to reset here at APL for a media briefing, approximately around 9:30. We want to give the participants time to get here for mission operations. And tomorrow, we expect our first post-flyby looks at the Pluto system sent back from a healthy and very much alive New Horizons spacecraft. I said, bring on the discovery. So that's our program for tonight. I'd stay tuned for NASA Flyby Media Briefing live from APL. I'm Mike Buckley, and for Mark Holdridge and the entire NASA New Horizons team, thanks for watching.